The noise rises, and it's lights out, and away we go. And it's not a bad start from Nico Rosberg. And Sebastian Vettel now moves over to try and cover him. Hamilton is already away, and it's wheel to wheel. Rosberg and Vettel down towards turn one. Behind them, Kvyat tries to dance around the outside. Vettel maintains second place, and there on the inside, Daniel Ricciardo keeps ahead of his teammate, and just ahead of the Williams of Felipe Massa, who was chopping away. Kvyat on the inside of Ricciardo, down at turn two, looking to make up a place, but he's lost out to Felipe Massa right at the start as they head down the hill and onwards now towards turn four. And it's Lewis Hamilton out in front from Sebastian Vettel and Nico Rosberg. Then comes Daniel Ricciardo, and there's two going into the corner together. That's Marcus Ericsson and Max Verstappen. And Ericsson barging his way through. Looks like he might have made up a place there. As we just watched there, going way too late into the first turn and spinning Marcus Ericsson. That was a very optimistic moment, and I think that might just have cost him in this race because he looks to have got that car beached.
They've got to be careful they don't have an unsafe release there. Williams might just I think they'll get away with that. Always a problem when we have a safety car early on.
Struggling, maybe for grip, Max Verstappen as he gets the power on going down the hill out of turn three. Perez under huge pressure in the Force India. Verstappen down the inside on Sergio Perez. It's a move that the Mexican would have been proud of himself, I'm sure. And Danny Kvyat nips right in there, past Perez and almost past Verstappen as well. That's Verstappen on Ricciardo.
And that then puts his teammate onto him as well in the sister Red Bull. And this is why he was under pressure then. Why he lost out to Verstappen in the first place, and what forced him down the inside of 9. Verstappen goes round the outside of 10, and Ricciardo now sitting duck later on in the lap.
A blue flag being waved there for Max Verstappen, which I'm not quite sure why he was having a blue flag waved for him. He did rather get out of the way, but then he's fought his way back again with Valtteri Bottas, and he's now really trying to hang on to the place, and that place is 6th place, and Bottas is coming back at him again, and somehow Max Verstappen manages to emerge from that still ahead of the Williams, but for how much longer, I wondered. Valtteri Bottas now down towards turn 4. He's going to have to go around the outside, and he can't quite do that. Oh, Verstappen's having a feisty afternoon, isn't he, in his second race in Formula One, but now Bottas with great traction coming down the hill, swoops around the outside of Max Verstappen. Oh, Verstappen taking the long way, bumpy way and uncomfortable way.
Lucky boy.
Into the pit lane, but at least he is still going.
So Sainz then put his tyres on lap 32, Verstappen on lap 46.
If they can...
oh,
there
we
goes.
go.
Down the inside. Max Verstappen didn't really need too much of an invitation, but Carlos Sainz left him one.
I think that started as I braked a bit too late here, so he had to translate it into an overtake. I don't think he had any option there.
Sebastian Vettel, in his second race for the Scuderia, has rediscovered that winning feeling this afternoon. Verstappen holding off Carlos Sainz to become the youngest point scorer in Formula One, as we see the classification for the top 10, and Toro Rosso outpacing and beating the senior team at Red Bull as Kvyat and Ricciardo finished 9th and 10th. And it's lights out and away we go. It was a super start from Nico Rosberg. Hamilton's got going as well, moves over to try and cut off his teammate, who now slips behind in the toe. Daniel Ricciardo in third already. It's Sebastian Vettel pressurising Max Verstappen down the inside. Round the outside goes Nico Rosberg into turn 1, ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Then sets in Daniel Ricciardo, and then Sebastian Vettel ahead of Max Verstappen. Good start from Carlos Sainz. He's ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Round turn 3 we go, and it's Nico Rosberg, and Hamilton's onto the grass, and Hamilton's had a massive crash, and he's crashed into his teammate. The two Mercedes come together as Hamilton tried to pass on the inside, and he can cover his hands over his eyes, and he won't want to see that again. We have the safety car out here, but the two silver arrows have crashed on the opening lap. Hamilton takes out his teammates, and there will be a big inquiry behind closed doors into that. Daniel Ricciardo has got a very nice jump indeed after the safety car peels off, and a decent gap over his teammate Max Verstappen to lead them down the main straight as the green flags are waved and we go racing again.
The other thing about Ricciardo as he pits now, he's going to lose track position now. He's really struggling on those tyres. Palmer on the hard tyres was right behind him, having had to move out of the way and be lapped, had stayed with him. That Ricciardo's just had a bad few laps.
Right, so Verstappen and Raikkonen already passed. Sebastian Vettel now passed. Medium tyres going on to the end of the race here for Daniel Ricciardo. And there goes Sebastian Vettel. And this is now the gap that he is going to have to try and close down.
Vettel's pace remains poor, relatively speaking, and Ricciardo's coming at all three of them. It's going to be really compressed at the end, but of course to get to this squabble, Ricciardo's going to have to clear Vettel, but can these two keep their tyres intact somehow?
At the moment he's about 2.2 seconds, or 1.2 seconds I should say, a lap faster than Sebastian Vettel. That's going to be a tough ask to get past, and we're now going to start to see some defensive work going on for Max Verstappen.
Yeah, he's going to be very vulnerable down the pit straight.
And let's see how he reels in Max Verstappen, gaining, under braking, not gaining enough. But overall, he was 1/10 of a second quicker on that last lap, Kimi Raikkonen. Then comes the problem, Martin. If he doesn't get the overtake done into turn 1, he loses downforce going through turns 2 and 3.
Verstappen using his years of experience nicely there, isn't it? Just so calm with it. It's going to be close at the end of the straight, but be surprised if it's close enough.
Does he look closer this time, Kimi Raikkonen? Because to the naked eye, just a little bit closer, and he is that little bit closer, but I think he needs to be within half a second as they cross the line, and if he's got half a second, that will give him the opportunity.
I got a picture or something. Left rear is really weird.
For the second time this season, after he's been leading a race, Daniel Ricciardo gets a puncture. And that is absolute disaster and a sporting context for Daniel Ricciardo this afternoon. Can he get back to the pits, make a stop, and get back into this race though and hold on to that 4th place? Because Valtteri Bottas is an age away, just whether he can get back or not.
An extraordinary drive from this teenager.
His dad, Jos Verstappen, stood on the podium twice in 1994, but he never stood on the top step of the podium. And this afternoon at the Circuit de Catalunya, the sun is out, the smiles will be out. At 18 years and 227 days old, Max Verstappen wins a Formula One Grand Prix, wins the Spanish Grand Prix, and is the youngest driver ever to win a Formula One World Championship Grand Prix. He is the 10th different winner of this race in the last 10 years. And at the tender age of 18, he can go out and party like he's never partied before in this Spanish city tonight.
Yes! Yes!
Unbelievable, Max. Unbelievable.
Max
Verstappen, you are a race winner. Fantastic. What a great debut. What a debut. Fantastic. Great job.
Thank you very much, Christian.
What a week it has been for Max Verstappen. So for the first time since Spa in 2014, we have a Red Bull victory in their 9th race driver, Martin Brundle, receiving the first of what I think will be many winners' trophies to come.
Formula One needed a good news story, and this is it.
It feels amazing. I can't believe it. It was a great race. I have to say thank you to the team to give me such a great car and to win straight away in the first race. Amazing feeling.
This is the opening lap of the Brazilian Grand Prix. We are away at Interlagos.
Okay, Max, so you've done a lap. Let's have a thought on your conditions.
Yeah, just a bit the first sector and going into the second one. And then the last main straight, also a bit difficult to see with the aquaplaning. It's a bit wet.
We are racing here at Interlagos for proper. After 6 laps behind the safety car, we are now going for it at the Brazilian Grand Prix. And it's Hamilton and the spray that's been kicked up behind him down the back straight. goes Nico Rosberg, then Kimi Räikkönen. Max Verstappen's very close to Räikkönen. He might have a go here into turn one. Verstappen on the inside of Räikkönen, catches the fin napping and moves up into third place. Great move from the Red Bull driver. Then comes Vettel and Ricciardo and Hülkenberg.
That's what I was talking about. He takes a tight early line in and he's just got a feel on the brake pedal, and he came from so far back. The confidence that Max Verstappen has in these conditions, expect to see more of that.
There is Marcus Ericsson, and he's out of this race as well. Just past the point where Romain Grosjean crashed before the start of this race, Ericsson looks like he's hit the wall as well, and the safety car has been deployed. Hamilton then from Rosberg, accelerating up towards the main straight they go. Behind them under pressure is the Red Bull, and it's Kimi Räikkönen into the wall, and he almost collects the Red Bull, who does actually hit the front wing. That is a major incident for Kimi Räikkönen. He is out of this race, the second Ferrari to have problems, and by far worse than his teammate Sebastian Vettel. The safety car deployed once again, and less than 10-15 seconds after we got going again, we have a Ferrari in the wall. We nearly had a Red Bull in the wall, and Kimi Räikkönen is out of the race.
And that's on full wets.
And that is a red flag. Verstappen is close to Rosberg. Hamilton towards the centre S as he goes. Under braking, Verstappen is late on Rosberg but can't quite close up. Rosberg keeps that second place. Behind them comes Sergio Perez, and then Carlos Sainz and Daniel Ricciardo. And oh, there's a very wide turn there by Felipe Nasser, almost making contact with Esteban Ocon. Now down the Retroposta we go. The spray behind us. Now see Max Verstappen overtaking Nico Rosberg. I wanted to wait a couple of seconds to see if it happened, and as they emerged into the light, Verstappen takes second place.
What confidence. The boy just goes and finds grip everywhere else. Okay, you're going there, I'll just go somewhere else then and see how it is out there. Absolutely brilliant. He's been rehearsing that. We've been watching him. And right around the outside of turn 3, while his rival is nursing the throttle pedal, boom, P2.
Get in there, Maxi.
This is Max Verstappen. Oh, Max Verstappen! Can he keep it out of the barriers? Just. How has he managed to keep that away from the Armco? It might still be a very costly move for him, because there is Nico Rosberg into the centre S as we go. Verstappen defending, Rosberg on the outside. Crowd absolutely loving that. They're all up and out of their seats in the main grandstand. But now through the Curva de Sol we go, and Max Verstappen on the right-hand side, looking in his mirrors to see where he is, just holding on. Verstappen to that second place. How on earth did he do that?
Save of the century. He loves going right round the outside where you get all the dirt and rubbish. He thinks he's got more grip. Yeah. Wow.
Okay, well held, Max. Well held.
Yeah, heartbeat went a bit higher there.
Well, would it go from 96 to 97 or something? Beats per minute. Yeah.
Wow.
And it seems that they're going to bring Verstappen in for intermediate tyres as well. This could be a bad move, but maybe Red Bull have sorted out their own weather forecast and think, Inters, we've got to go for it.
It still looks horrific on the full wets in places for aquaplaning. Well, it's a tough call.
Verstappen's been saying on the radio that it's all about the last sector. He makes up nice amounts of time in the middle sector, but then the run up the hill, he just loses all the time on the intermediate tyres. So they've done the maths. They've asked him, look, do you think you can fight your way through traffic and make up time on a full wet tyre? He says, well, I can't do anything on the intermediate. So really, it was the only choice Red Bull had.
Max Verstappen, he's just get the feeling, doesn't care who it is. They're there to be passed. And they have been passed. He's done it. He's gone around the outside at Magulio there.
This then is Verstappen on Kvyat. Job done.
Job done. And Verstappen absolutely flying. He's up into 9th now. Round the outside of Pico de Pato goes Max Verstappen, finding grip round the outside again. And away he goes. Max Verstappen, who was out of the points at the start of this restart, is now up into 7th place.
And he's about 3.7 behind Hülkenberg.
Well done, mate. The next one is Hülkenberg.
He's living with the conditions, skating over the puddles.
They might even be on the podium, yeah.
He's got Sebastian Vettel next as well. Verstappen on those tyres for 19, but nonetheless, oh, he's giving it a right go again, isn't he? Vettel comes to cover him off, but in doing
sweet.
he allows Verstappen the opportunity down the inside. Do they make contact? Sebastian Vettel yields and goes onto the grass as well. Verstappen on the inside. Sebastian Vettel had to concede the place because the Dutchman certainly wasn't moving. Vettel ends up on the grass, and Verstappen goes up in a 5th place. Here comes Max Verstappen. Carlos Sainz doesn't put up quite as much of a defence as Sebastian Vettel does.
You can see he's playing around with the grip. He's looking at different areas.
He's going to have a go. He's going to have a go.
Get the traction. Does he? Nearly, almost. Come on, hang in there. He's going to brave it out. Come on, lad. You can do it. He's done it. There you go.
And the crowd are cheering like crazy underneath us. It might not be Brazilian, but they've taken him to their heart.
Max Verstappen raises a finger in celebration this time to his team on the pit wall and comes home to claim a podium place. What a thrilling drive that was from Max Verstappen today. Sergio Perez finishes 4th.
Yeah, it was an incredible race, of course, with the red flags, difficult conditions, especially the last straight, really slippery. And then, yeah, in the final restart, I managed to overtake Nico, and I was in quite a comfortable position over there. Then I had a massive moment into the.
Talk us through that.
Well, I just had, I don't know, maybe I clipped a bit the curb, had a massive moment, locked all 4 wheels, managed to keep it out of the guardrail, continue still in 2nd. Then we decided to pit for intermediates, but unfortunately it started to rain afterwards, so it didn't work out. But then after that, I think I was 15, 14, I don't know what I was. And then some great overtakes afterwards to come back onto the podium is, of course, amazing.
It's lights out and away we go. Very good start from Kimi Räikkönen. Bottas and Hamilton having to watch out as he steams down the middle. Bottas is going to get squeezed out here. Hamilton takes the lead ahead of Räikkönen, and then Bottas. Räikkönen goes wide. Verstappen has started well. Vettel going wide, and Leclerc as well. It's Hamilton, Räikkönen, Verstappen, Bottas down into 4th. He's had a dreadful start at the pole sitter. As towards turn 3 we go now, and Kimi Räikkönen trying to make his way around the outside, and he's locked up. He's going to lose places there as Verstappen comes back on the inside. Räikkönen rejoins the track just ahead of the Red Bull, and there's the Renault of Carlos Sainz going wide as well, and at the back there's a damage to a front wing of Stoffel Van Dorn.
And now Bottas coming around the outside and reclaiming 2nd place. Räikkönen went in too fast to turn 3, had to go wide, managed to keep some momentum. But Bottas recovering well. We saw Ocon down the grass as well, out of turn 2 into 3. And look at this then. Verstappen and Räikkönen.
Max Verstappen swapping places metre by metre. Verstappen has got ahead of the Kimster. This is Kimi Räikkönen then on lap 1.
I think the Red Bull hit me on the rear. We check.
Well, let's have a look then from the other angle.
He did indeed, but he was kind of halfway alongside him. Unusual, it's not really an overtaking place there.
Valtteri Bottas, the pole sitter, is retiring from this race, and what has happened to his car or his engine? We know what's happened to his race. It's been ruined.
There's a bit of a blue haze coming out of the back of it, a faint blue haze.
Red Bull are out for Verstappen.
Both Red Bulls, we think.
Yeah, well, let's see who can stack. So Red Bull can do it nicely. They've lost no time. They've got all the cars, all the tyres ready. It's Kimi Räikkönen and Ferrari who can stop as well with Sebastian Vettel. So good job by. Oh, it's a bit slow on Vettel's stop, but haven't seen Hamilton yet.
No, Hamilton is still out there on the track.
Okay, obviously Hamilton did not pit and is staying out. So we are now within his pit stop window.
So Mercedes' explanation as to why they didn't pit earlier was because it's the dilemma of them being the leader. They thought if they pitted, then the Red Bulls or the Ferraris might have stayed out and held us up by splitting their strategies over 2 cars. Whereas Mercedes now, of course, since Bottas retired, only had 1 car in play. Well, you can argue that all you like for the rest of the race, but Hamilton has now pitted and has emerged behind.
Well, he's emerged
Vettel.
behind Verstappen and Ricciardo. Is he going to come out? Yes, he is, behind Kimi Räikkönen, and he comes out ahead of Sebastian Vettel. So I think what they've done by bringing Hamilton in right now In terms of the championship, Martin, it's damage limitation. Get him out definitely ahead of his nearest championship rival.
Ricciardo's starting to fly now, 20 seconds, 8 seconds off the lead, but with another set of used super softs on. Hamilton also did a 1.7.9, so he's still got some latent potential in the Mercedes. No idea which way this one's going to go now, Crofty, because they're all managing something out there.
Daniel Ricciardo has got a mechanical problem. This is not the birthday present that was ordered by the Australian. He is out of the Austrian Grand Prix. He pulls over and he parks up, and whilst his teammate Max Verstappen is leading, Daniel Ricciardo has a DNF. Kimi Raikkonen needs to up his pace a little bit and carry his teammate Sebastian Vettel along with him. Just looks like he's cruising out there at the moment, Max Verstappen, doesn't it? He said that he's feeling good, he's feeling cool, he's okay. But I wonder now, as he starts to see a glint of red in his wing mirrors, whether that coolness starts to turn into something a little bit more of trepidation. It was at the start a 1-2 for Mercedes. It was a 1-2 for Red Bull at one stage. It might yet be a 1-2 for Ferrari. It is a disastrous day for Mercedes. Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton both out of this race. After all the worries and the troubles and the criticisms for some of the incidents in 2018, the last 3 races have seen Max Verstappen start to rise to the occasion once more. He's never been on the podium 3 races in succession. He's never ever stood on the top step of the podium here at the Red Bull Ring, and for that matter, neither of his team. But for the team and for the man, their moment has come now. Max Verstappen wins the Austrian Grand Prix. Ferrari with Kimi Raikkonen ahead of Sebastian Vettel make up the other 2 podium places. What a season that this is now turning into, Martin Brundle. What a race that was today. First, to finish first you have to finish. And we weren't quite sure who was going to finish at one stage.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was very hard to manage the tires as well, you know, so we really had to look after them, a lot of blistering, but yeah, we managed to hang on until the end. And of course, it's amazing to win here with a Red Bull at the Red Bull Ring, and also so many Dutch fans around here. It's incredible.
It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen gets an awful start. He's already been bypassed by the 2 Mercedes, Norris and Raikkonen as well. Leclerc leads from Bottas, then comes Lando Norris ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Kimi Raikkonen then slots in behind them, and behind Raikkonen, Sebastian Vettel, and then comes Pierre Gasly and Antonio Giovinazzi. Great start for Charles Leclerc. Into turn 3 we go. Norris on the inside of Hamilton. Hamilton goes wide. Lando Norris might get a decent getaway, and wheel to wheel with the Mercedes there. The 2 British drivers really going for it. Hamilton eases ahead and Norris slots back behind him. What happened to Max Verstappen?
Not enough, clearly. It just didn't get away. I think he had to have a second go at getting the car underway, and then kept his head
on board with Verstappen.
Anti-stall kicked in. It didn't go anywhere, did it? He didn't have enough revs on.
I need more power, mate. He's scripting a lot.
Into turn 3, that'll please the Dutch crowd here.
And because he was behind at the detection point still, he still maintains the rear wing open look on the Red Bull.
Bit of a double whammy there for Max Verstappen. Verstappen has Raikkonen in his sights towards turn 3, under braking. Who's prepared to break the latest? Max Verstappen is. Kimi Raikkonen didn't put up much of a fight for the second lap running. Verstappen makes a place at turn 3. On goes the new front wing at 80 kilometres an hour. Lewis Hamilton will now start to trundle down the pit lane. So Verstappen in and out. There he is. He's ahead of Hamilton, but he is behind Sebastian Vettel, behind Valtteri Bottas, and behind the, once again, race leader, Charles Leclerc. Max Verstappen now with DRS on the main straight towards Sebastian Vettel. Pace advantage into turn 1. Verstappen is able to brake that much later than the Ferrari, and now he is very much in the slipstream. The man who started on the front row with the Ferrari ahead that started in P9. He's getting a great slipstream up towards turn 3. He's not quite close enough to make a move into that corner, but with more DRS to come, because there are 3 zones here, not 2, Is he going to make a go of it? Down into turn 4. He's going to have to go round the outside. Sebastian Vettel manages to cover him off. Verstappen looks to switch back early, down the inside, and I tell you what, he's going wheel to wheel down the hill here until Vettel just about covers him off. Verstappen in hot pursuit, 200 miles an hour, and he's gaining on Sebastian Vettel, under braking. Wants to put himself in a great position.
And he is super tidy through the apex of what's turn 3. Somehow he's got to get it down the inside, the right-hand side.
Well, here he goes down the outside once again, but he's going to try and switch as he did on that last lap. Vettel's got him covered. Verstappen is going to send the Red Bull ring absolutely crazy if he can make this move. And out of turn 3, now he's got a very good chance indeed. There's 1 car length in it as Verstappen goes round the outside again, and this time before the corner arrives, Max Verstappen is up into the podium positions, and they absolutely love that in the grandstands.
He got such fantastic drive off turn 3, and with the DRS could simply drive past the Ferrari. And now he can set about Bottas.
Here he comes down towards turn 3. Is Verstappen going to go down the inside? Yes, he is, under braking. Max Verstappen manages to clear Valtteri Bottas, and he is back up to second once again. And it's the Red Bull of Max Verstappen that has got this place absolutely jumping, and he's gaining on the Ferrari, and Leclerc puts that Ferrari in plan A position to fend Verstappen off. But for how much longer is he going to be able to manage it? On board with Verstappen, running now down towards turn 4. Can he go inside or outside? He's going to have to go round the outside once again. Leclerc makes it very hard indeed. Verstappen, just for 1 fraction of a second, thought he might get him coming out of turn 4. He's going to have to sit and wait. As Verstappen goes down the inside once again, he's wheel to wheel with Charles Leclerc, and Verstappen comes out still alongside that Ferrari. Down towards turn 4, Verstappen's got DRS once again. He's so close, he's wheel to wheel once again, but it is a very tricky part of the track to overtake if you're not ahead going into the braking zone, and fair play, that was great defending. Towards turn 3, is he going to go inside or outside? Which way is Verstappen going to go here? DRS wide open, gaining on the Ferrari, switches early Verstappen, late braking, Leclerc this time might just have to give way as he goes off the track, and when he comes back on, Max Verstappen has just sent Holland into raptures. He leads the Austrian Grand Prix. What a battle this has been, and on that occasion, Leclerc powerless to defend his lead. How clean was that, Paul? They bang wheels.
I think he positioned himself perfectly. He was entitled to the corner. He was alongside him with all 4 wheels.
He turned in on me.
Mate, there was nothing wrong with that, mate. Nothing wrong with it.
What the hell is that?
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 victories in Formula 1 for Max Verstappen, and this, number 6, was very much the best. Verstappen wins the Austrian Grand Prix.
Yes, go on! Yes!
Congratulations. Enjoy.
Wow, mate. Oh, who would have done that after that one? Great job, boys. We are definitely catching them. Good job. Great job all weekend.
And it's lights out and away we go, and it's a decent reaction from George Russell and also from Carlos Sainz, who covers over his teammate Charles Leclerc. Now that could give Lando Norris a bit of a movement as he tries to get down the inside. Russell ahead, going around the outside, Charles Leclerc. Russell's got the inside line, defends and cuts off Carlos Sainz as Lewis Hamilton goes wide and then comes back onto the track behind Lando Norris in 4th. Decent start from Max Verstappen as well. Behind Bottas and Ricciardo at the moment, but look how the gap opens up, and he thinks for one moment I can head into that. Perez steams down the outside, as you rightly mentioned, Martin, and Verstappen kind of gets himself in a bit of no man's land, and the contact there between Magnussen and Ricciardo rather helped him.
And look at this,
Max
look at
Verstappen has got a great run on Fernando Alonso, and he's ahead of him going into turn 4. That was an attempt from the previous lap that a lap later came off for Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen on Esteban Ocon. We've seen these two tangle in the past. That was a lovely clean move. Under braking from Max Verstappen. Hamilton wants to be ahead of Lando Norris, and he gets the move done into that first turn. Lovely move there. Norris is going to be under pressure now from Verstappen, heading down into turn 2. Hamilton is pulling away. Verstappen's got ahead of Lando Norris, who didn't have the DRS. Verstappen is also coming in, so he was closing right up to the rear of Lewis Hamilton and was pushing hard. 2.8 seconds for Hamilton. Through goes Russell, through goes Sainz, Ocon and Alonso, and here goes Max Verstappen past Fernando Alonso, and Verstappen up into 5th place. Verstappen is going to come in, so his second and what should be final pit stop on lap 39.
Perez on a different strategy will be asked to get out of the way pronto like that.
Yep.
Because Verstappen is on a roll.
You said quite a while ago Verstappen could feature at the end of this race and could feature quite high. Well, he's probably got the undercut on Carlos Sainz. Charles Leclerc is on tyres at the moment that actually might not suit him very well. Verstappen's closing in on Charles Leclerc to make the overtake on the track. George Russell is now down in 6th place. They go wheel to wheel. Verstappen goes a bit deep, but he makes that overtake stick. Oh no, he's had a little spin. I was going to say he's the fastest man on the track. He's currently running ahead of Charles Leclerc, but he's had a moment there coming out of the penultimate corner. He stayed ahead of his teammate Sergio Perez. Perez has now got Lewis Hamilton right on his tail. Hamilton pulls out from behind the rear wing of that Red Bull. Hamilton's got the pace to get one Red Bull, can't quite get the other into the same corner, but he'll get DRS, an advantage from that ahead of Verstappen going into turn 2. Right on the back of George Russell, I should say, going now into turn 2.
So far, so good. He's a little bit wide. Oh, that's got to be water on the track or something. And that was just a lazy little loop.
I went on throttle and I just ran like inside Wilson.
Wow.
Neat recovery, but that just easily looped around, didn't it? That's bizarre.
DRS wide open for Max Verstappen once again. He is closer than he was on the previous lap to Charles Leclerc. Leclerc dives down the inside to cover off the Red Bull. In doing so, Max Verstappen now has a nice gap opening on the inside coming out of turn 1, and Verstappen is back ahead of Charles Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton is coming in the other Mercedes to pit from the lead of this race, and he'll come out a net 5th.
What a great victory for Max Verstappen and Red Bull.
Led the 50th race of his career today, takes the 28th victory of his career. Max Verstappen from 10th on the grid comes home to win the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Wow, what a race. I think we stayed calm and we won it.
It's lights out and away we go. Sainz reacts quickest. Perez comes across to cover off Fernando Alonso, who's almost on the grass, but he's ahead of Sergio Perez. Sainz goes into the first corner. Then comes Alonso. Lewis Hamilton round the outside of George Russell. Perez has lost places right at the start. As on the run down to Eau Rouge we go now, and you can see a brilliant start from Sebastian Vettel, who's already alongside Daniel Ricciardo. Into Eau Rouge. Ricciardo just ahead of the Aston Martin. Over Radion we go, and onto the Camel Straight where Carlos Sainz is a long way clear. Behind him comes Fernando Alonso, and there's the 2 Aston Martins squabbling, and behind Fernando Alonso it's his old teammate Lewis Hamilton. Here comes Hamilton into the Lecombe chicane, and they make contact. Hamilton rises up into the air. He's made contact with Fernando Alonso. George Russell goes through. There's the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll onto the gravel, and that was Alonso and Hamilton getting too close together, tangling, but they both managed to carry on. There's Max Verstappen right behind his old teammate Daniel Ricciardo. Verstappen already ahead of another of his old teammates, Alex Albon, and he's up into 7th place. Ricciardo now the car ahead of him, and then Sebastian Vettel, who's holding his own in that top 5. We're on board now with Max Verstappen, and this Red Bull has had absolute pace along the straights. It's had a lot of pace in the middle sector as well, and how vulnerable is Daniel Ricciardo on the medium tyres going to be to the challenge behind him going into the bus stop chicane. There's a couple of car lengths between Ricciardo and Verstappen. That is getting overhauled quite substantially. Into the bus stop chicane we go. Max Verstappen started 14th, is now up into 6th place. Here's Sebastian Vettel now on the outside and Max Verstappen on the inside, and Vettel, you get the feeling, was using his years of experience not to fight that one for too much longer. Verstappen up to 5th.
Max Verstappen is 6 seconds off the lead. So he's nearly unravelled all the pain of the engine penalty.
Up the climb to Radion we go with the Alpine ahead of the Red Bull, and look how Max Verstappen, now we get to the DRS point, starts to close up. 8.5 miles an hour, extra pace. Fernando Alonso moves aside, lets Max Verstappen go through. Leclerc here is getting bogged down in a position that he doesn't want to be in.
Yeah, he's like, Verstappen's got to pass a car, at least one car every lap.
What, like that?
Yeah, exactly like that.
Max Verstappen just proving your point as you were even delivering the line. He is now up into the podium places. So our race leader, a couple of laps after reporting higher tyre degradation than he really wanted, has now pitted.
Now, this is what Max is saying. We're losing time here, and now they're in for the undercut situation, aren't they? Ferrari puts on new tyres. We'll have a reasonably clear amount of track, and Red Bull, this is where Max needs to be pumping in his best stuff.
I think the key here is Alonso pits as well. Can they get Sainz out onto the track behind Sebastian Vettel and in front of Daniel Ricciardo? I'll watch that as along the Kemmel Straight, Max Verstappen gets past his teammate Sergio Perez, and Carlos Sainz comes back out onto the track, our race leader, behind Daniel Ricciardo and ahead of Lance Stroll. Sainz round the outside at La Source, 2.8 seconds, 6/10 slower than his teammate Sergio Perez for Max Verstappen's pit stop, but he still gets out ahead of Perez. Guess what? I rather think Max Verstappen is about to retake the lead, and this time not because of any pit stop for the Ferrari, but because of the pace of the Red Bull. Here it comes, Max Verstappen into Le Comte chicane, leads the Belgian Grand Prix once more. And they rather like that, those that have dressed in orange. Lap 18 of the race, the man who started 14th now leads the Belgian Grand Prix. It's all well that ends well for Max Verstappen, who's sliding his way out of the final corner and taking the line, winning the Belgian Grand Prix for a second year in a row. It's a 9th victory in Formula One in 2022 for the reigning world champion. And in Hungary, he got victory from 10th. Today, he's done it from 14th on the grid. It's lights out and away we go, and Verstappen crawling away from the start, gets away, but not as well as Charles Leclerc on the inside. Esteban Ocon getting a bit squirrely, as is Sebastian Vettel. Into turn one we go. Verstappen is ahead of Charles Leclerc. Leclerc trying to fight this one, but as they now head towards the S's, it's Verstappen who's leading from Charles Leclerc. Sergio Perez ahead of Carlos Sainz. Is a Ferrari off, and it is Carlos Sainz into the barrier and out of the race. The red flag the race. So with a safety car out, the race has been red flagged.
It is easier on the outside, especially on a circuit you know that's very wet and you haven't really done many laps around since Friday.
You notice that most of the drivers, I think, starting in second gear because it's better in the rain. That was brilliant from Verstappen to go round the outside into turn one. Well, as Max Verstappen then reaches the final corner, we'll see if anyone does come in to the pit lane. But we're racing again here at Suzuka. The Japanese Grand Prix is go once more. Verstappen leads the way then down into turn one. Charles Leclerc follows on in second place. You could barely see Charles Leclerc as Max made his way into turn one. Then comes Perez, then comes Ocon, then comes Hamilton into the pits. Sebastian Vettel and Nicholas Latifi too have decided at the back of the field to take the gamble and go on to intermediate tyres. Leader pits, second place pits. Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc, and this is where the crews can make a huge difference. George Russell's in, Perez, Ocon, Alonso, no, he stays out. Hamilton also into the pits. Decent stop there for Max Verstappen. They're double stacking there for Checo as out comes Charles Leclerc and in comes Lewis Hamilton. That just seemed choreographed, very neatly done. There is George Russell coming in as Esteban Ocon makes his way out onto the racetrack, and the race currently being led by Fernando Alonso, who stayed out, and Daniel Ricciardo with Mick Schumacher third, and then Max Verstappen in fourth on the intermediate tyres.
Fernando Alonso into the pits. It's not raining any harder, so I think the safety car, unless someone has an accident, is unlikely. That's Fernando straight in front of me, who pits. Nice stop, Alpine. Nice stop. Let's see where he ends up. There was and Daniel Ricciardo. There was very definitely an unsafe release of Lance Stroll into the path of a Haas. Maybe we'll see a replay.
And down the main straight, Max Verstappen on the intermediate tyres, getting past. Max Verstappen has taken the checkered flag to win the Japanese Grand Prix. It's a 12th win of the season. Leclerc goes across the rumble strip. Perez tries to get him on the outside of the final corner. Leclerc comes home to take second place ahead of Sergio Perez. They might have a look at that in the steward's room after this race. The winning margin at nearly 30 seconds. Nearly 30 seconds, and we only had 28 laps of racing.
That's crazy.
Charlie got a 5-second penalty there after the little sort of race we had with Sergio. World champion.
Well, what can I say? Incredible, of course. Yeah, very special also to do it here in front of all the Honda people, all the Japanese fans. Incredible.
Yeah, but what a year though. It's been, you know, a real battle. Exactly. The boys, he's off.
And Formula One is racing for the Spanish Grand Prix. It's going to be even. Immediately into the slipstream. Verstappen is holding the inside line. How brave is Carlos Sainz feeling? He's going wheel to wheel. Dare he go around the outside into turn one? He's run out of road. Hamilton is up to P3. Could get better. Contact. Lando Norris loses a bit of his front wing. George Russell was off the road in the background. Carlos Sainz got close. He did not get by. Hamilton up to P3. And then Sainz in second. Wheel to wheel goes the Aston Martin. Stroll trying to go around the outside. Disaster for Lando Norris. We've not seen much of him because of the overtaking action behind him on track. This is one of the few risks to Red Bull's race. You can say goodbye to that comment because it's 2.2 seconds, and that is a team and driver in the form of their lives at the moment as he chases a third Spanish Grand Prix victory today.
Well, yeah, 0.8 faster than we've seen some of the other pit crews. You know how much you have to work to gain 0.8 of a second out on track. So that is a perfect example in a digital world, just humans in perfect harmony.
Watch the grandstands. Watch any camera angle we can find. If the ponchos go on, if we have the umbrellas going up, there is minor rain being reported over the circuit at the moment, and then it turns into major rain nearby, but crucially, our information not over the racetrack.
So it just spots around, and that's all that has been reported so far, and the lap times are coming in very quickly. Russell with the fastest lap, trading blows with Verstappen and Hamilton out front as well, so no lack of grip, even though there's a couple of spots on the visor which can sometimes just be a little bit disconcerting, can't it, David?
Yeah, it can indeed, and we could be looking at a double podium here for Mercedes. The sort of pace that Russell's got, 6 seconds behind Sainz. He's going to eat into that Ferrari very quickly indeed, and the Spanish dream seems to be crumbling.
But even last season looks a much better prospect than this season for Ferrari.
Okay, Max, thoughts on this tyre?
Oh, not amazing. Let's see a few more laps. I struggle a lot with like under braking. The front is overheating.
It's an interesting way to describe it. Overheating. He's not locking and under rotating and flat spotting the tyre, but the tyre just isn't giving him the grip.
It's Red Bull going to work. Soft tyres on. He really wasn't enjoying the hard tyre. He obviously had the margin. He's going to come out in the lead, having gone through all of that. They're well drilled enough not to worry about making any errors with the wheel guns. And Verstappen wanting most tyre available if we get drops of rain towards the end of the race, but I think that chance is receding. Just to update you on Max Verstappen, he's had the black and white warning flag for getting up to his last warning for track limits.
That was a third stroke on track limits.
Where?
Turn 10. You've now been given the black and white flag. You are 18 seconds ahead of Hamilton. No risks required, Max.
What's my fastest lap?
Yours is a 17.3. Like I say, you've been given a black and white flag, so we cannot afford anything.
Verstappen has turned the wick up on that last lap and done a 1:16.3.
Okay, now can you bring it home? within the white lines. Thank you.
Yeah.
He has been absolutely unchallenged. The man who won his first Grand Prix here in 2016 has swept them all away once again. Round the final corner for the final time, the Dutch driver will see the checkered flag first, and it's win number 40 in Formula One for Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen wins the Spanish Grand Prix to win 3 in a row, lead every lap, and dominate proceedings. At the Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona, a brilliant performance.
Well controlled, Max. Another win.
Yeah, good race that. Again, very lovely result this.
Well done, Max. That was mega. Very well controlled, even though you went over the white lines a few times.
Yeah, just within the limit.
I mean, it's a big pleasure, you know, to drive with a car like this. And I think, yeah, it showed again today. I mean, we had quite a lot of different tire strategies out there. I think for most of the race we're on the right one, but yeah, again, a win here, it's incredible.
Lance Stroll finds himself off the road on the formation lap, and he has got himself into difficulty at turn number 4. I think we're going to need an aborted start here because he's stuck in the gravel, and for the second year in a row, a car finds themselves out on the formation lap. We're down to 70 laps for the Grand Prix. The start is aborted, a second formation lap now in progress.
Colapinto was also parked in the wrong grid slot.
Yeah, all sorts of procedures have been breached here, Max. So should not have started.
Yeah, you have to wait for a green light.
Lando Norris noted for a starting procedure infringement. Did Lando begin the second formation lap before the green lights were illuminated? The Sao Paulo Grand Prix is underway from the line. Good reaction time for George Russell. The lead for George Russell. The Mercedes man gets by. Esteban Ocon forces his way past the 2 V-Cubs, or at least he's trying to. Yuki Tsunoda hangs on to third position as Lewis Hamilton is all over the curb. Here is Oscar Piastri toughing it out with Fernando Alonso. Alonso in the green Aston Martin, and now you've got Piastri moving out of the wheel tracks. They're on the intermediate tyres. They're looking for a way by. This is to turn number 4. This is a chance for Fernando Alonso. Wide moment now for Liam Lawson. Allows Alonso to keep the place on the way in, but Piastri kept it pinned on the way out, and he's able to go past the 2-time world champion.
Now side by side, the Sauber on the Haas. Ollie Behrman trying to hold on that position.
And round goes Checo. Sergio Perez spins round the Red Bull, keeps the engine going, and he will rejoin. Norris again cannot convert into leading lap 1 of the contest. And through the spray, having a go at Lewis Hamilton, fighting his way through and taking 10th place. The man on the charge, the championship leader on the attack. Max Verstappen up to P10. Let's have a look at Oliver Behrman. He got a penalty, 10-second time penalty for causing a collision.
Ollie, we have a 10-second penalty for the collision with Colapinto.
Why? He didn't even lose any time.
Max Verstappen looking to make another move up against Pierre Gasly, and Verstappen comfortably takes 9th position. And that was a replay of Max Verstappen getting past Fernando Alonso. Here we go with Max Verstappen in another league right now. Wasn't even a contest. The man showing us why he's a 3-time world champion. Max Verstappen hasn't won since the Spanish Grand Prix, and there won't be a contest there. That's the junior team not fighting the senior team. Another position gained. Lawson knows who he wants to join next year, and he doesn't fight it.
Piastri, I believe, on Lawson.
So yeah, this was the spin round for Liam Lawson from Oscar Piastri, and he got a 10-second penalty for this. Hulkenberg has spun. I can see it out of the commentary box window. There he is as the rain hammers down, and Hulkenberg, usually so reliable when the rain has gone off. Can the leaders make it through? It's getting right on the limit. This is all about keeping the car pointing in the right direction. The virtual safety car is out to neutralize the race. Control Alt Delete, and we go again.
All right.
well
done.
George Russell cannot cope with the car on the circuit any longer. The top two felt the need to come into the pits and take on new tyres, and Russell gets out ahead. Esteban Ocon rolls the dice. He's hoping now for a full stoppage with these conditions.
Look at the water on the racetrack. They've absolutely got to be contemplating calling this one, which would be devastating for Russell and Norris.
And look at the plumes of spray. Look at Lando Norris going through. It's barely raceable out there, but the British driver gets past his countryman. That is a crucial move to move up to 4th position. And the safety car is finally deployed to neutralise the race. Big crash into the wall for Franco Colapinto. Colapinto finds the barriers. It is a red flag. The race is interrupted with Esteban Ocon, the leader, but that is how easy it is. And look at the damage it did. Confirmation that Hülkenberg received outside assistance, which is why he was shown the black flag. That flag is to disqualify a driver from the race. Esteban Ocon takes us back to racing conditions, and there's a good opportunity further back in the pack for a pass. Side-by-side moves further back, but the top 5 are in the same order. Charles Leclerc got up to P6. Lawson completing the point scorers at the moment, and off the road goes Lando Norris. Lando Norris, can he stay ahead of George Russell? They go into turn number 5, a moment of massive consequence, and who's going to get the inside line into the high-speed corner? Norris has to back out of it. Round the outside to take the place goes George Russell. There's different risk levels being taken, and there's the evidence off the road into the tarmac runoff for Oliver Behrman, who nudges the barriers. Can he escape from there to keep his race going? But you could see some drivers were cautious, some were attacking, and for Behrman, that's the result.
The tires on Lando Norris had 6. Everybody had 6. They all changed during that red flag. Oh, and we see the Ferrari going around.
Into the wall. Carlos Sainz can't keep it on the road, and he spins into the barrier to bring out the safety car once again.
And just immediately rear lockup into 8. That was a big hit.
Ocon leaving it late, but Ocon leaving the field behind. They're very tightly bunched up in the background. There's a big opportunity for Charles Leclerc. There's a big opportunity for George Russell, but a better one for Max Verstappen, who finds himself taking the lead as Lando Norris has gone off the road. The championship pendulum swings in one corner. Piastri gets past Norris, who drops down to 7th position as Verstappen goes from 17th on the grid to the lead in Brazil.
As Hamilton defending now against Liam Lawson at the top part of the racetrack, and now Lawson coming back on the inside into turn 8.
Can he find his way past Hamilton? Hamilton's deep. Hamilton's nearly off. Alonso is off as well and gaining another place.
You see the command now from McLaren to swap positions. That was expected. They didn't wait too long, which is the right thing to do now. Lando's got to be head down, attacking Russell.
And that's Russell up to 4th. And Russell is able to get past Charles Leclerc.
Don't expect that to be an issue. Russell didn't have to lift, didn't have to go off track to avoid the Ferrari, so no harm, no foul there.
In the Brazilian rain, the Dutchman has delivered a defining drive. He climbs the hill back to Grand Prix victory. Max Verstappen wins the Sao Paulo Grand Prix in 2024. 17th on the grid to the win, and punching the air with delight is Esteban Ocon, who takes his 4th career podium, and he will be joined by his teammate for his 5th career podium. And for the first time in 11 years, Team Enstone have both cars on the podium. A defining win for the World Championship that leaves him with a 62-point lead, his first Grand Prix victory since back in June, and it was worth the wait. Roaring through the field in some style.
You know, starting P17, I knew that it was going to be a very tough race, but we stayed out of trouble, we made the right calls, we stayed calm, and we were flying. So all of these things together, of course, made that result possible, but I mean, unbelievable. To win here from so far back on the grid, yeah.
The Japanese Grand Prix is underway. We're racing to turn number 1. There is the chop from Max Verstappen. He planned that and he's held the lead into the first turn. The first 3, as they were, they all behaved themselves. No one making positions in the upper places. Hamilton getting close to Hadjar, but it's in formation. Bortoleto drops to the back of the field in the Sauber, but at the front it is Max Verstappen who leads. There's a move to the inside, I believe, for Pierre Gasly, who was looking to and was getting close as well, but out front, they're in the same order that they left the line. Gasly and Alonso are the only 2 getting their elbows out on this opening tour at Suzuka. You can see Gasly trying to get into a position to attack into the 130R, and that's the wise thing to do, into a very fast left-hander.
Yeah, no thank you. Am I going to stick it around the outside of that corner on a full tank at the start of the race?
Let's go back to the start of the Grand Prix. You saw how Verstappen's car was pointed, and he got the start he needed to maintain the lead.
Yeah, just incredibly even. They're all line astern, the top 4. The Mercedes are side by side further back. It's a narrow circuit, and a few drivers that did get good starts further back just had nowhere to use them.
It's going to be on board with Gabriel Bortoleto. He started in 17th, gets that poor launch off the line, and that's fine. But when you're on the hard tyre and the guys behind you are on the softs, say hello to the last place on the racetrack.
Yeah, caution, caution, caution. There's another car going to come past him there. Hard tyres v softs, as you say, and Bortoleto not really wanting to engage in any of them. So Alonso just wants to cut him off here, and he's going to just squeeze through the nose. And Gasly has to back out of it, but he really had no chance to stay in there anyway.
There's going to be Liam Lawson with the oversteer that allowed Yuki Tsunoda to get ahead of him on the opening lap.
Lawson fighting the car. Here we go. This is Sainz. Oh, get in there. Lovely pass at the hairpin. Saw him teared up from behind. But then you still don't know if he's actually going to have the minerals to go through with it. An easy chance to lock up as you're braking and turning, but lovely execution.
Lewis Hamilton trying to claim 7th position. This is the only DRS zone on the racetrack. That's a Ferrari getting past into turn number 1.
Yeah, no fight from Hadjar, and through goes Hamilton. He had great grip through that chicane at the end of the lap, considering how close he was to the car ahead.
In comes Max Verstappen, in comes Lando Norris, over to the teams to get it right. We're looking at the pit stop for the top 2 in the Grand Prix.
I can't understand what McLaren are trying to do.
It's close. Go to the first turn. It's side by side between the 2 rivals for the championship. Lando Norris and Max Verstappen nearly coming together on the exit of the pit lane. And Max Verstappen maintains the track position. But we're going to have to look at that one again because it was the Grand Prix win on the line.
You forced me up. Okay, we're on it.
This is Lando Norris coming into the pits. McLaren won the Constructors' Championship last year. It's why they get this entry back to the fast lane. Wait for Max Verstappen on the left-hand side. Side by side they go. Apply the power. And it was close on acceleration.
Yeah, it was. Norris actually got a great launch off the pit lane limiter.
He drove himself into the grass.
Yeah, we know the game, Max. As you are.
I tend to agree with Max on that one, really. I think it was just such a long shot for Lando to try but I don't think there'll be anything in that. Huge moment.
The top 2 contenders for Grand Prix victory in Japan, side by side on exit.
So Max is coming out of the pits. He holds Lando to the outside, and then he's just naturally heading to the grass. I mean, Max does not... He could be a lot kinder to Lando, to be fair. He could drive towards the white line and open the door for Norris, but Lando is being released onto the apron, and that space is naturally running out.
Lando Norris has the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, but he's got 2.1 seconds between him and his title rival. If Verstappen wins this Grand Prix, if Lando Norris is second, 1 point in the Drivers' Championship. Early stages, but if you consider the advantage that McLaren have had across the first 3 weekends, that would be remarkable that the gap was only a point. And Sainz will just be trying to bring Albon into play. He's trying to break the toe. You can't make too many moves without race control getting awfully grumpy at you. And there is the move round the outside. And he plays no more games. Couldn't fight it anymore without being unfair. Up to 9th place for Isaac Hadjar. Crucial move with Albon closing in. This was close between Oliver Behrman and Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, massive late sweep to the inside for Behrman. And I don't think Sainz saw him coming. Didn't need to be chopping across the hash like that. Sainz is having a pretty miserable day, actually, after that lovely early pass.
If Lando's still saving, I think it should go soon. I think they have the pace to get back.
Yeah, that's a get on with it from Oscar there. Sitting in 3rd, he's really close to his teammate ahead.
This is Lando's pace.
Okay, like I said, it's the pace to get Max.
Decision time for McLaren. Will they unleash Oscar Piastri to try and win the race, or is that too difficult an instruction to issue your fastest finisher in the championship last year?
Max, a bit of comms between the McLaren drivers, trying to urge each other along. Just keep your head down. Pace is good. You'll find time to the end now.
McLaren have to swap them round here. If Norris cannot find some more pace, Piastri saying he thinks he can, you've at least got to see if he can back that up. Because I don't think Norris is winning this race as things stand. They pitted at the same lap. Lando's 1.5 seconds away, and you can see how close that Oscar's able to close in their line astern. I think there's only one McLaren that seems to be able to have the pace to fight here, and it's not the one ahead. So I think this is why McLaren should have swapped the positions. The pressure that Piastri is putting on Norris is far greater than anything Norris has put on Verstappen. They've waited and waited, and now actually Piastri's got a chance here.
Well, he's going to try and take second place. You can see Lando recharging and Oscar Piastri not getting the help from the team. So the point that Jodian's making is that this is the best part of the racetrack for Lando Norris, but it's the final part of the racetrack to try and set up that overtake where Piastri looks really strong. It was an utterly sensational pole position to deny the McLarens yesterday. He'll be checking the left mirror and the right mirror. They're still there. He's still P1 after 53 laps. The first man to win 4 in a row around Suzuka circuit. Max Verstappen takes the checkered flag to win in Honda colours in Japan. Max Verstappen wins the Japanese Grand Prix to deny Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, the contenders for the title, separated by 2.1 seconds across the line. Driving brilliance from Max Verstappen.
Just perfection, Max. Fantastic.
Wow. Thank you, guys. Wow. Oh, mate, what an unbelievable weekend. What a great turnaround after the difficult start. You see, we never give up. We keep pushing together. Well done, everyone.
This is Oscar Piastri seeing his teammate with that lock-up at the end of the race.
Shaky.
And providing a bit of commentary for us as well. A 64th Grand Prix victory, and one to savour for Max Verstappen, who beat Lando Norris by 1.4 seconds. Oscar Piastri with a podium on his birthday, and then it was Charles Leclerc ahead of George Russell. The top 6 staying as they started. Lewis Hamilton improved up to 7th. Isaac Hadjar got his first points in Formula 1, and it was Alex Albon and Ollie Behrman rounding out the top 10. And our battle in Brazil begins when the 5 red lights go out. The Sao Paulo Grand Prix is underway, and we're racing down to turn number 1. Antonelli does not get the launch off the line, but Lando Norris felt the need to go to the inside line. He chops across. It's very, very close between Hadjar and Piastri, and Hadjar backed out of it there significantly, knowing that he was racing a championship contender. Liam Lawson has got up to 6th position. Antonelli's weaving to try and get temperature in the tyres. Still, Hadjar puts the pressure on Oscar Piastri, but he's maintained 4th position. Norris, Antonelli, Leclerc and Piastri, the top 4. That's George Russell trying to go side by side with Pierre Gasly, who pinched the position off him, and Russell's back up to P7.
But he's lost a place to Liam Lawson, who's come through. So both Racing Bulls went on the offence from the start. Alonso's running wide, will rejoin there, but also trying to scrap for a place in the top 10. Brave from Piastri on that first lap. Hadjar's got nothing to lose. He's on a soft tyre. They went wheel to wheel, and turning it in for the right-hander at turn 2 just felt like a risky move, but he left the space and is rewarded with 4th position still.
Oh, the home favourites in the barrier. We had a mixed-up grid. We got a safety car.
There's Lewis Hamilton with loads of damage in the background, so Hamilton has tripped over someone.
Oh, and that is such a shame for Gabriel Bortoletto. That's the closest a barrier is really at any part of the infield section. And then, in the end, the contact with the Aston Martin.
Stroll pushed me out. Yeah, he just turned if I was not there.
Whoa, that's big speed. 15th and final turn of the racetrack. Hamilton trying to pull out of the slipstream and get past the Alpine. This is what it looked like on board. Colapinto is the car ahead. Oliver Behrman getting to the inside of Pierre Gasly. Behrman hoping for more yesterday. Still equalled his personal best in Formula 1 qualifying. And here he goes, but I don't think there's going to be much breathing room down to turn number 1. Charles Leclerc's got to run. Oscar Piastri's got to run. 3 wide into turn number 1. How brave is Piastri feeling? He hits Antonelli, who hits Charles Leclerc, and Piastri will be up to second position. But that's a dramatic moment, and there's no tyre on the Ferrari for Charles Leclerc. Piastri went all in, and contact with the top 2 as they plummet down the hill. It's Norris and Piastri, the top 2 in the race.
Antonelli holds on ahead of Hadjar, so the Racing Bulls move on even more. Has he got damage? Hadjar applying pressure, Lawson applying pressure too. Oh, it was a brave move from Piastri again. I think he had to go for it there. He had such a good run on the safety car restart. So it's a bad restart from Antonelli. That allows Leclerc, but Leclerc has to back off because he's going to clear Antonelli before the start-finish line. Piastri's down the inside. It's obviously unlucky there for Leclerc. It's a tangle between Antonelli and Piastri. Piastri is there on the inside. He locks up in the end because he realises Antonelli's going to come across and he doesn't want to tangle.
Oscar Piastri has been given a 10-second time penalty. This is Yuki Tsunoda. Oh, with the incident, and then he's going to tag round Stroll. It's a 10-second time penalty for Yuki Tsunoda for causing a collision. Verstappen has come into the pit lane, and he has changed to the medium tyre.
So we think we picked up a front right puncture, Max. And that was the reason for the box.
The virtual safety car is ending. It can be withdrawn at any moment. It's not the start-finish line for this. And the 2 contenders for the title are separated by hardly anything down to turn number 1. Lando Norris having to check his mirrors because Oscar Piastri will just continue the aggressive form. He's got no choice now. DRS is enabled. There are a crucial couple of laps coming your way.
Russell's just cleared Lawson. That's what's happened on that restart. So Lawson dropped back. Russell's got more grip and more speed, and he'll get DRS again.
And this time, he's got an inside line which is dry, in sharp contrast to yesterday. Through goes George Russell to 4th position.
Verstappen on Hamilton.
This is the battle for 15th position, but Hamilton's looking for moves. That's a late-breaking move from Oliver Behrman to take P6. And if we wait back, we'll see Max Verstappen doing the same thing. 15th position for Max Verstappen. He gets past Hamilton, who's got damage on the car. Another position about to be gained by Max Verstappen. Oliver Behrman has come into the pits. Carlos Sainz has come into the pits, and it now means that Max Verstappen takes his place back in the points. The reason that they built this racetrack at this part of the world is because the ground shifts all the time. Another position shifts for Max Verstappen, who's gone from the pit lane to 5th, as to the inside. At turn 1 goes Nico Hülkenberg. He goes past Fernando Alonso.
Nico Hülkenberg here for a braking down into 1.
That was defensive from Alexander Albon. Oh, it's tight between the 2 of them, but Hülkenberg gets by and takes P6. Both drivers yet to stop. Another great move at the first turn. This will be agony for Oscar Piastri, and then it is going to be such an important stop for McLaren, an exit of the pit lane. Max Verstappen takes the position on track. The driver who started from the pit lane goes past the man who started P4 on the grid. Oh, is there going to be a gap? Always epic when we cut to it late. Oliver Behrman getting to the apex. Got to leave a width for a car. Behrman trying to get past Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg, who's been on these soft tyres for 12 laps. Behrman on the more durable medium, and it's fresher. Now can he go around the outside as we go to turn 4? Behrman's run continues. There was room. And Behrman gets by. He's up to P7. And Verstappen, having held the lead from starting in the pit lane, hands it back to Lando Norris. Lando Norris takes back the lead. 2.5 seconds. Antonelli up to 2nd. Where does Verstappen come out?
It's been a fairly vulnerable tyre this match, so yeah, do your best.
Yeah, we'll not take the loose.
And Oscar Piastri is P6.
This weekend looked really promising at the start. He was back to a good pace in practice.
Going for the dive bomb move on Liam Lawson. Those two made contact 1 year ago. No problem this time. 36-lap-old medium tyres belong to Liam Lawson. That's why there's no contest for Oliver Behrman to get by. The driver who started from the pit lane, who is currently in P4 with the DRS open, heading to 200 miles an hour with Russell hugging the inside line, and Max Verstappen getting by from the pit lane to the podium. It's inspired stuff at Interlagos once again for Max Verstappen. fast as in practice. Sprint pole, sprint victory, Grand Prix pole, and the Grand Prix win. Lando Norris wins the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Kimi Antonelli in the final meters, but Max Verstappen is charging up behind. It's the final meters of the Grand Prix, and it's Kimi Antonelli who hangs on by 0.3 of a second.
Amazing job, mate. Amazing job. Whole weekend on it. Yeah, well done. Nice race, well executed. Good job all weekend. Not quite a big enough gap for my liking though, so definitely some things to look at. Let's keep it going. Thanks, guys.
Many were praising Mexico City as his finest drive, and he acknowledges the team with another weekend to be so pleased with. The message on the radio, though, conveyed that he knows it is not yet done. His supporters in the crowd euphoric with that one.
The race was quite full on, a lot of action. I had to overtake some cars, of course, coming from the pit lane, and I think our pace was quite strong over all the stints, because sometimes it's a bit difficult to know fully with traffic and stuff. But yeah, I mean, to be on the podium from the pit lane, I didn't expect that at all, even with a puncture as well in the beginning of the race. That's why we had to box again. So yeah, incredible result for us. Very happy with that, and just very proud of everyone within the team as well. I mean, yesterday was very tough for us. But, you know, we never give up. We always try to improve and try to find more lap time, and luckily we found that again today.